Barb?
Sherry?
Yes.
Tom?
Yep.
Robert?
Be excused.
Mike?
Here.
Beth?
Excused.
Here.
KK?
Here.
Barb here. Bernie?
Here.
All right. Looking over what's that, September's minutes. Any corrections, deletions? If not, a motion to.
I move we accept.
All right, a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have no guests. So moving to old business. Ryan, you're first one up.
The bridge is finally
Oh, no, it's just, you're right into the mic. It was really loud for a second.
Look at her
the two
roll.
left.
Yeah, yeah. Just move
Zero
back up.
TV.
There you go, there you go.
That good?
And it's distorted.
Yeah, it's good.
You up back here, Ryan?
You're dozing off a little bit. I gotta keep you engaged. The new bridge is finally completed. So it got done in time for a little bit of the end of our regular season. But going into next year, that new bridge it'll be great to open up and have that available for all of our golfers when we start in April. This is the last week of this year's season. So next couple of days should warm up a little bit. So hopefully we'll close on a good note. But the bridge project is done. So the cart path and the bridge have both been completed this year. So those are two big improvements that we're really excited about. Looking at our numbers, we're going to fall a little bit short of what we brought in last year. We still brought in more than what we spent as far as budget-wise. The expenses are definitely higher this year, and a big reason for that is we really had to. It got to a point with the irrigation where we ended up contracting somebody out, irrigation company out of Toledo, and they did a really good job. There were leaks everywhere around the course, so that stuff adds up. So a big chunk of the increase in expenses that we had this year, that's a big reason why. So, like I said, we're still gonna bring in more than what we spent, but that there definitely is a difference from last year to this year. And then if you guys have any questions about that, I can definitely go a little bit more in depth, but I don't anticipate a huge expense. Like the irrigation expense was a huge expense. There's just no getting around it. But it had that's something that if we didn't do, then we probably have to close the course, especially with the weather was great, but we went a really long time where we didn't get any rain. So with all the leaks that we had, we couldn't operate the sprinklers because then those specific spots would flood. So we're in a bit of a hard spot. So like I said, I don't anticipate having a huge expense like that for next year, but it's just one of those things where you got to bite the bullet and take care of it then and there and move forward. So.
And the Golden Bridge is done and over with.
Yeah, so it turned out really nice. Hopefully we'll get some grass growing in around the bridge between now and when we open up next year. The ODNR project is starting Monday as well, so they're gonna. That's the project where they're gonna make a little bit of a wetland type area, and they're gonna make the creek bigger. So that really bad rainstorm that we got a couple years ago, that's what took out that one bridge that is finally repaired now. So hopefully after this next project, hopefully the course will be able to withstand a lot more rain and it won't take out anything on the course. But the creek is essentially getting widened, so everything will flow better. It'll make more of a wetland area, especially in the back of where our maintenance garages are. And that's going to start as soon as Sunday is our last official day that we're open. And that project should be starting shortly after that. So
Who'd have thought the ODNR would be in on that too?
they've been,
Ohio.
they've been a huge partner for the
Yep.
golf course this past year or two.
If there's wetlands, they're involved, so.
All right, anything else?
On the youth programming, Tondra was going to try and be here, and she still might be able to make an appearance, but we have the out-of-school program going on over at Mills right now. But what she wanted me to bring up was she and Sue Doherty from Serving Our Seniors presented an update on the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren program at Monday night's commission meeting, so I'd advise everyone to kind of check that out. It was a good presentation, just kind of giving an update. We had I believe it was 5 grandparents and 10 kids that were part of that program that Serving Our Seniors funded as a
What was the
pilot.
turnout?
There was originally 10 grandparents. I think they had it down, it was down to 5. And it's a pilot program to kind of help not only kids that are being raised by their grandparents, but the grandparents who are raising their grandkids. And we had varied success with it and some good feedback. So looking to keep that program going. I know her and Sue are working on, the second edition of that, and look forward to being able to do that now. We also have winter break camp that'll open up for registration November 20th, and our December out of school will open up for registration on that same day. So we break the internet that day with our registrations, because usually that's a pretty busy day for us to get everybody signed up for those 2 programs. Any questions on those?
Special events?
Yep. Witches Walk, they had a record amount of witches, and it was also a Guinness record amount of witches. If anybody was down here, it was pretty exciting. Tom, you're shaking your head, you weren't down here for that?
Not here.
No? They've also presented us, as they have in years past, a donation to help with our Wi-Fi at Mills that the kids and sometimes our events use there, so we thank them for that. Looking forward to next year and it becoming even a bigger event. And then they also did the Little Witches Walk as part of our downtown trick or treat. And the downtown trick or treat, I think, was the busiest we've had. I think this is year 14, 15, something like that. It seemed like we had more and more. Last year was a little tough with the construction going on, but this year it was really, really good. And we dropped more pumpkins than we ever have. And this year we checked with Back to the Wild if they wanted some of our leftover pumpkin chunks. So we ended up dropping off some chunks of pumpkin and seeds that were smashed down to Back to the Wild. So those pumpkins did serve another purpose of not just getting dropped from a fire truck, but feeding the animals at Back to the Wild.
Who sent out the questionnaire online that we were supposed to answer if we wanted to be involved?
The city, it was through
City.
Tom, yeah. And that was just because we put a map together this year that was,
There was a map?
mhm.
I didn't get a sign or a map for my window or a map, but luckily, another business, they didn't get it either, and they made up signs to put in our windows.
Are you on the email list for the downtown businesses?
Well, I answered that questionnaire. Would that be
Yeah.
that I'm on it?
Yeah, should have gotten something there.
No.
And there was a question on there, if you needed a flyer dropped off at your business and you asked for one?
Yep.
Okay, I'll double check on that.
And luckily, the businesses down in our end, we look out for each other, and they were sending people down to us because a couple of years we didn't get anything, and we were always slammed.
Yeah, we did, there was also wayfinding this year. We added signs on the block, so then pointing people to go on Water Street and Market Street.
Papers too, maps to go
Mm-hmm.
with businesses on it.
I don't know if they printed the maps. I know that it was online. We had a QR code that was on the wayfinding signage. There's a QR code to go to the map in case we had any additions or deletions on it. But yeah, I'll look into that if you didn't receive because usually I'll drop off the flyers if you don't get them. But the flyer was in the email, I thought, if you're a participating business.
I
Okay.
didn't see
Well,
it.
sorry. We'll
You're talking.
we'll talk
to-
afterwards.
You're talking to Sherry.
Yeah. But great event. We were really happy that we were able to, the flow went a lot better, I felt like this year, and we had the farmer's market on Columbus Ave. And then we closed down the 100 block of Columbus Ave, but left open Market and Water Street for traffic. So people were still following the stops, and I feel like the way we had it set up to where 11 o'clock kicked off with the parade, and then 1 o'clock we did the pumpkin drop, and then 1:30 the cruise on the good time, which we had a lot of kids go to that. It all kind of flowed really well, so we're looking forward to continuing that. The weather always helps on something like that, but I'll find out about what you asked about, Sherry.
All right, anything else on our old business? All right, Jason, new business.
2025 special event, so that's what we have left going on for this year, and that's we don't facilitate the Sandusky Christmas Market, but we help, make the space available. I don't know if you've seen and we help put the tree in with Barnes, and the tree is in, and
That tree is beautiful.
it is.
Perfect.
Our crew will be putting the lights on it, and they've been setting up and getting the markets expanding a little bit this year, but it really is starting to feel like that, those Christmas markets that you'd see in other countries and other parts of the U.S. So they'll be kicking that off on the Friday night of the lighting ceremony, which is the 28th of November, Friday after Thanksgiving. And so we'll have the lighting ceremony down here with the Sandusky Community Celebrations Council in Washington Park, and then at 7 o'clock they'll kick on the tree down here. So,
6, 1 and 7.
yep. And that was pretty busy last year, even with all the construction going on. We had a lot of people down here, and you always expect it to be cold and blowing a lot of wind. And then the next day we have the race before the game, which is, it's our 9th year doing that event. We've got a record amount of people signing up for that this year. Usually we're at about 125, and I think we're already at 125 with 2 weeks to go for signups. So looking forward to having that event again. And it's always a iffy on the weather for that one too, but
Are we getting decorations across the lights for Christmas?
those
Down
lights are,
Columbus Ave?
no, those lights will stay,
I'm saying, are they adding Christmas things
No.
to them?
No, I don't believe they're rated for any extra weight like that, but no, they'll stay. We are putting the garland on the poles. Our grounds crew does that, so they'll have garland on the poles, but nothing on the string lights.
Here's a suggestion. I know nobody wants to hear it, but it would be nice if, you know how you decorate the poles on, let's say, Jackson Street? If you could do the other part of Jackson Street, then it looks like you're driving down a tunnel of Christmas, instead of just one side gets the decorations and the other lights on the other side don't get them. Just a suggestion.
You talking they don't put them on the register side of Jackson Street?
Yeah,
The west side.
Okay.
just a suggestion.
I know we only have a certain amount of them. That's probably
Yeah, well, you'd have to order them. And
Yeah.
same way for the other, where it just does one side
on
of the
Wayne.
street.
Wayne
Yeah.
side only does one side?
Instead of just doing one
Interesting.
side, doing it, making it look like
Yeah. Okay.
money.
Well,
And more work.
we make investment every year, and that's another update I'll have in parks and facilities. But any questions on special events?
Adult volleyball?
Ryan, would you like to take adult volleyball?
Yeah, I think it's off to a really good start. We brought it back after about 5 years. So we have a co-ed league. The first game was this past Monday. So we'll do a small league, small schedule leading right up until the holidays. And we'll hope to keep it going through the rest of the winter. After the holidays, have 6 teams. So two time slots, 6 and 6:45. The school has been a great partner as far as letting us use Jackson. So it's a great asset to have, especially with adult sports such as volleyball that we try to hold for the city. And had 2 open gyms before we officially started, and it seemed like there was an interest in participating again. So definitely anticipate keep going with co-ed leagues, and I know in the past there was a men's league as well. So we'll see what the interest is moving forward, but really excited to bring adult volleyball back.
A lot of history behind that, obviously.
Yes.
Now, that Earl Bruce played in that league, did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's a cool little nugget there.
And the rumor is the Seiler family has the crying towel somewhere in.
We do, no question. We're not giving it up.
Yeah, it's good to have the league back. Jackson was being used for some other, I think it's cheer, maybe a competitive.
Cheer.
And then when it came available, we asked if we could get volleyball back in there. We're still using the same nets, the same.
Those same heavy pulls.
Yeah.
Yes, the heavy poles are a workout every Monday night. But having, just walking in there Monday night and seeing everybody coming in, and like, if we didn't have the league there, they probably wouldn't be playing anywhere. But it's good to have the league back.
It's important to do programs like that, especially with a new building coming in the near future. It's important to show that we will have things to do in the new building once it's built. So, because those are things that bring in community members, and it keeps people active, especially when it's cold like this time of the year. So but it's good to start planning and having those programs somewhat established. That way, when we have that great new building, we'll have things to do once it's built. So
Things carry right over. Yep.
Ice skating ring?
that will be opening, probably do a soft opening tomorrow, and we will keep that open Thursdays through Sundays down at the Jackson Street Pier. We'll have that available through the end of December, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. We do not charge an admission fee. We just charge a rental fee to rent skates, $5 fee. And yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll get some good skates in for the community. It's a good thing to do downtown, especially with the market around the corner as well. It's good thing to add, kind of complement the Christmas market for families who are down there and want something extra to do other than to shop. So, but that will be, like I said, a soft opening tomorrow, and we'll keep it open through the weekend. And as long as the weather cooperates on those Thursdays through Sundays, we'll have a skating option for the community. So.
All right. Jason?
The pickleball courts at Whiteman Weber are open for use. There's 6. We just took out 4 of the nets, though, for the winter, so there's 2 nets. We'll probably rotate which nets we leave in and out each year, just so we can put plugs in there, so then there's not a freeze thaw on the where the poles go. So there are 2 courts still there. There's some additional fencing that's going to be added next spring, unless we can get it still done this year, that goes around the edge of the courts. And we've had a lot of positive feedback as far as a lot of play going on.
I was just thinking now, if you get an ice storm or water on that court and kids go there to sled, slide, or skate, will they be able to, if the ice is there?
It should.
Only from, not man-made, I'm just saying from a storm. Would they be able to go on
No,
that?
it should drain. I mean, it's made to drain.
Made to
but-
drain?
Yeah.
I don't think we want skaters out there.
Yeah, there's still there's still a coat that they'll put on in the spring when it gets warmer. They got to the point where they put the asphalt down and they have it striped, but they'll put down another athletic coating like they have for the basketball courts that'll go on there.
They're coat.
And I was just thinking, because that would be a great place for them to just be walking by and want to start sliding in their shoes.
Their shoes, okay, well, that would work, but you don't want to go on there with a
Ice skate.
sled or a skate or anything.
Yeah.
Pickleball people wouldn't be happy either.
No.
Right.
According to the plain deal today, the pickleball people are a mean group.
Is that what?
It comes with age.
This is-
And then I had one more update that I didn't have on for facilities, but want to thank the Sandusky Community Celebrations Council and the Leeds Group, Elizabeth Moots and her Erie County Leeds Group. They did a lot of repainting of the Cookie House and added a
Is that who did all that beautiful work?
handicap
It's beautiful
accessible
down there.
ramp. They reached out to us earlier this year, and they funded all the work that was done. They asked for more things to paint, and they actually got some painting done on the inside of the Cookie House as well. The handicap accessible ramp is there, and we put new garland on the Santa and the snowman, so those are up today. And then the hippos are getting repainted, so.
And it's all being noticed because customers of mine are saying stuff about it.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, the hippos are going to look much, much better. Same guy that painted them 25 years ago is painting them again, so. So it's a cool thing, but. So we're happy that those things are getting updated, and we got some of the things that were on the list from last year that we knew we were going to do this year done, so they're done.
And what time's the Christmas lighting?
Starts at 6. Santa usually arrives around 6:30, and then at 7, there's the tree lighting down for the Christmas market. I believe the House State Band's also playing
7
this year
o'clock.
at the high school. Busy weekend.
All right, anything on open?
I got a couple things. Just to keep everybody informed, I reached out to Denny Meritori, who is our interim superintendent for Sandusky City Schools, and basically approached him about bringing back something that started actually with the local NAACP, which is the Parent Summit. That was started in like 2010, and it was really big when we first started those for the first couple of years. Probably the third year, I believe it was when Dr. Sanders became superintendent and placed the Parent Summit under his umbrella for the school district. And so, but since the pandemic hit, it was discontinued. It was never brought back. So he's already agreed to be in like a pre-planning stage to reach out to the different partners. I spoke to Dick, our commission president, and he wants to support it. So it's time to think about the sessions that we can actually provide for parents. Of course, recreation department should be a part of that, I believe. And there might be some other sessions that we can host, whether we're talking about the after-school program, whether we're talking about the grandparents program, whether we're talking about how scheduling for use of the swimming pool, how that's working and how that's going. So it's not always about sessions, it's also about informing the parents about what the resources are that are available to them. So that's something that's coming. So, you all can kind of start thinking about what would be some great sessions to give to parents, what are resources that we can talk about, inform them about. And that's from not only the school side, but from the city side too.
I want to say, I think we had a table at that, when it was going on, the Sandusky Rec would have a table, and we'd have like flyers and signups and how you could get involved with our programs, not only for the kids, but also the parents if they want to play in the volleyball league, or, we had those available. There.
And so the Sandusky City Schools will take a central role, of course, and, others are just partners, whether you're talking about the Boys and Girls Club, serving our seniors, the city of Sandusky, all coming together to host this, looking at probably mid-March to late March and hosting this. So that's really important. I'm happy about that. The second thing, this was brought up at a city commission meeting. I've brought it up a couple of times. And I can safely say that the way that we traditionally have appointed people to boards, commissions, and committees, it will change. I'm not sure of exactly what all the changes will be, but I am certain that it will change. And so, of course, we'll be looking for some feedback after some recommendations are made, because, between the city commissioners who have talked about this, we see a need for change. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that, we'll be looking at, what does the charter say? What does it say about how long are these appointments supposed to last? Adhere to the appointments. there might even be a possibility where the people who are the chairs of these committees provide some kind of report about the possibilities for appointing certain individuals, and the city commissioners have an opportunity to see who those individuals are, why you might be leaning for one individual versus another individual. All of that will change. So I just wanted to let everybody know that it's coming.
That makes me wonder, do you feel like us that have been here for a long time should not be here?
No, absolutely not. What it brings to mind for me is that, let's just be, real, right? Transparent. That who really makes the decisions, right? A lot of times decisions are made and there was really no dialogue about it. There was no, and I'm not saying in all cases, but there have been.
100%, sometimes we don't know anything that's look at the rec center.
Yes.
Where is the rec center? What's going on with that?
Yes.
And we're the rec board.
Yeah. It's not about anybody personally. It's about process. Most of the time, like if I have a problem with something, it's generally about process. It's never personal, unless you're just nasty, right? If you're nasty and rude and disrespectful to me, then, it's a problem. But for the most part, I'm talking process always. How do we do things? How are we showing transparency, right? That's really, really important to me. It's one of the reasons why I say, look, I don't need to talk about this like in this body. If there's something we need to bring up, talk about it. I come from a family, a mother who was that way. She was just open about, talk about what's on your mind. I just always look forward to hearing from people who are willing to do the same thing. And I think it's really important when we sit in these bodies, we sit on these committees, we sit on these boards and commissions, right? The people who have been appointed should be able to talk about how they feel. It's just called respect. But that's a good question. No, it's never personal. It's not about the individuals who serve. People could ask that same question about me sitting anywhere. You know what? How did we come to this conclusion? How did we make this decision? Who made the decision? Who was a part of it? Right? So, and other commissioners feel the same way, and the majority of them do. So I can tell you that unequivocally, the majority of them feel the same way.
Anything else, Richard?
I don't have anything else.
I had a couple more things. I do want to say that I hear, and Robert's not here, there are great things developing for the youth in the sports department of the city schools and the city kids. And I hear you guys might be coming together on a few things to work together for organized sports for kids that aren't, the baseball, the football, but intramurals or anything like that for the younger generation to help us when they get into high school and they know, like baseball, for instance. There's no organized sport for baseball other than AMVETS, which is great. But from my experience, when we got to the 9th grade, we didn't know what that coach wanted or needed. And if we start young with these kids, get them off the streets, get them going in the right directions, they might be a superstar. We might be helping parents out, get their kids out there going in the right direction. So I hope that's true. I'm hearing it is.
Yeah, we met with Robert and just to discuss and he grew up with it and knowing what programs we were offering and what, some things have fallen off due to kids not participating or not getting enough people to do them. Others was not having somebody to coach it or to do the program itself. So, and facilities became an issue as well of when and where we could do stuff. So we talked with Robert about how we're building in those programs, but I don't want to discount what we already are doing, at Mills with the kids there and trying to give, no, I'm just saying, but I'm just saying like the sports that we try to, we got a soccer goal over there now. We're doing kickball, dodgeball. We'll do some baseball over there. The things that get the kids experience and where you want to have that connection. And it's not just sports with what we have going on at Mills. It's, cooking, sewing, all those other things, but having that connection to where.
Rec. That's why I always say sports. I'm not discounting anybody and anything else. I'm rec.
But yeah, we did meet with Robert, and we're looking forward to what kind of things we can start implementing as early as next year.
He's awesome. Oh my God, he is doing such a good job.
Well, tell him that when you see him next.
Okay, a couple more things. Is it obsolete to send out flyers about things anymore, pieces of paper, half a paper? Because I've had parents say we didn't know anything about it. Like I was telling KK, I had a mother and son sitting at my restaurant at the time. What do you call your race that I just got this T-shirt for?
The Street Pride 5K.
Yeah, she didn't know anything about it. I said, I don't think it's too late. She was there for breakfast. I said, I think you can still go over and do it, but she didn't know about it. Not everybody does computers.
Well, I mean, the expense of putting out paper copies of everything when you have such a robust system of, like, if we put it out on Facebook, if we put it out on email, if we, you know, for the, I don't know a good way to put this, but like, people are finding out what we have going on because we also put out press releases. It's word of mouth. Like, to spend the money that we spent to put it out to everybody in the city because there's a very small percentage of people that don't do computers. Like, if they reach out to us or want to call us and let us know, like, we don't do computers, can you let us know when something is going on? We can definitely let people know that something's going on. It's just to put out 20,000 pieces of paper in the mail system today as opposed to how things were done.
Oh, I just meant in the book bags, going home with the kids.
Well, again, you're printing out a lot of, like, I think everyone gets an email from their school on a weekly basis if their kid goes to school. I don't know but most.
It's usually on Dojo. If you send them to the schools, they'll send them out on school Dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we would print out and send a certain amount to each of the schools, but that seemed to get more expensive than where we saw that's where we were getting more bang for our buck by putting out, and no bucks by being just posting on Facebook and also sending out email alerts when we had stuff going on. But if there's somebody that wants us to contact them with when things are happening, we can definitely make that connection.
Where are we with the new rec department?
The new building?
Yeah.
And so you ask Chris
Rec
at
center,
every
not department.
meeting, and Chris gives
Maybe next month. So is,
yeah, I was trying to get an
months.
update from him before he was out today. It's at the stage where we should have bidding happening that would give us an idea of what construction companies would bid for the design build, so we'd have an idea what, if we have somebody to go to as that.
so it's still going
Yeah.
on?
Oh,
We
yeah.
are still
Oh,
getting
yeah.
it?
Yeah. So that's where it was at. And I'll have Chris reach out directly to you just for a straight from him on it, since he's not here.
We try to put some of that stuff too in that special event guide that we provide as well. So it looks a little different than what it's looked like in the past. Because I know in the past there was a more specific, like, Parks and Rec program guide or whatnot. So we do try the special event calendar that is available that kind of incorporates everything. So it has recreation stuff in there like that race, and it has other stuff in there too, like the tree lighting and just basically like big events in the city like that. So we do try, we still try and have those paper things available for people to be able to grab, and those are things that are usually, they're kind of scattered throughout the city, like at Shores and Island or like at restaurants and other things like that. So that's a way to try, like, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's somewhat of a physical thing that someone could grab and look at and read and say, oh, this is going on during November, or this is going on during December. But so.
Was that what you were talking about with the race?
I know what you were talking about though with the flyers. That did used to happen, but I mean, I agree with Jason though too. Like, it's
a cost?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a cost, and
it's about getting the bang for your, like I said before, but making sure you're spending funds on something where you're going to reach the most people. And when we put out press releases and the radio reads it, and the newspaper puts something in the newspaper, and we have it on Facebook, and we put on an email alert to anyone who's asked to be included on it, if you haven't heard from those areas and you still want an alert, like, we can call somebody directly if that's what we need to do. But yeah, the Blue Streak was in, all of the race 5Ks were in, the special event guide that came out in April of this year, and we still have guides, available. They're at the library, they're here, they're at Shores and Islands. So
That's a good idea at restaurants, right by the register where people see everything.
we can drop some off to local restaurants if you know anyone who owns one that wants some guides in their building.
And if you wanted somebody to do the legwork, I'd be glad to do it for you.
Okay.
And I know we have some educators on the board as well. The one drawback with flyers is you can print as many flyers as you want. The flyers go in the kids' folders, and then the kids still have to get them out of the folders and show mom and dad, and the success rate of that can vary. I'll just say that. So
I think we should just ask Sherry, and then we know.
I do get asked.
Just tell them to ask Sherry.
I do get asked. Not a lot of people, just during the summers, do you ever think you could do something on Saturdays as far as entertainment? Because a lot of people work Fridays and they can't come down for, like on Jackson Street Pier, the things we do on Fridays.
Thursday night, we do Party at the Pier on Thursday night.
Well, if they work nights, they can't do it and they're off for the weekend, is why they say Saturday. And that was
So-
only one person that said that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a business owner, one of the things that when the decisions were made years ago, when they started doing Party at the Pier 5 or 6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, Thursday night seemed to be the best night because you're not actively competing against these establishments that have entertainment that come in on a Friday or Saturday night or even a Sunday. So you're not drawing people away from those places on a Saturday. Like, we have plenty of things going on Saturdays with Bike Week and Ironman and Pride is on a Saturday. Like, there's different things that happen on Saturdays that are special event based, but as far as those Thursday night concerts, that was the night that was decided to activate because you're not drawing people out of the bars and restaurants on a Saturday when that's their basically bread and butter for programming, when they have like a acoustic or a band playing. So yeah, if you want to put them in contact with me, I can get them in contact with those folks of the Thursday night Party at the Pier.
The only other thing I was going to ask when we finish every meeting is anything for the community as far as grass, water, concession stand for the summers?
Grass, water.
Yeah, something to get the kids, the adults cooled off through the summer. Since we can't have a swimming pool, is there some other type, not a kid's splash pad, but something for the teens and adults?
So the splash pads we have aren't just for the kids. So I don't know so Churchwell Park has a new splash pad that's not age-based. And I don't know how to, you've brought this up before, and I don't know how to address it.
Every meeting.
If somebody wants like an adult setting for splash area, I mean, there is an adult area, I believe, at Cedar Point that in the Soak City, or not, well, it's not Soak City anymore, but was it Cedar Point Shores? Like, it's an adult-only area. I don't know how we could,
Talking 15, 16, on up in adult age group.
yeah, I mean, so Lions Park and Huron Park, nothing says that, you have to be, that 15 and 16-year-olds aren't allowed to use those splash pads.
Okay.
I think when the pool when the pool gets the pool is still relatively new. I think when they start to become more established and get more comfortable, I think you'll start seeing more like open swims. So I don't think they have the opportunity to do that right now, just because it's like a lot of aquatic centers, they're hurting for staff. They need more lifeguards. So right now they're trying to focus on programs and classes that active adults can come do, like jazz or like water size, like or aerobics in the water and stuff like that. Maybe like some lessons for kids, but I think as they I think the more that they get established, they'll start to offer things like open swims. I think open swims are kind of like what you're describing, where a teenager or a family, they can come and
Not lap swimming.
yeah, where they can just, and they don't have to be members. They can just simply drop in, you know, and hang out for an hour or two and hang out in the pool. And I think it's just going to take a little time. I think it'll come, but I think that's, correct me if I think that's what you're looking for.
Lions Park development, wasn't there a survey
Yeah.
we just did for Lions Park? Is that still going on? Anything from that, or?
I haven't, that's through our planning department. Could get results on that as far as what they came up with, but
And that's kind of what I'm talking about, developing that more for age group and adults.
Something that'll be nice too for the
Working
community.
on the break wall so that it doesn't tear away everything more and that kind of stuff.
In that survey, they gave 3 different options. You take it? Okay, cool. I don't have to re-explain it.
And that's just what, because we were on that committee. We were going to do it in phases, but then they stopped doing what was planned for it and did
Okay.
something different. So that's awesome for kids.
yeah, and Mike can probably touch on this as well, but it's not it's kind of a thing known in the recreation community that anything you try and do for teens and you say this is a thing for teens, the teens won't want to do it because they're teens. But we try and do things, and you try and do different things that would be interesting, we even have the comeback kid program for even our staff. Like, we have kids that maybe age out of the out-of-school program at Mills, but we keep them coming back as volunteers until they get to the age where they can get hired in as staff. And we've got plenty of staff there that have come through that program. So it's, as you know, it's tough to program for teens, and teens would probably tell you, like,
They're busy. They're really
Yeah.
busy with extracurriculars and, all the things. They want to hang out with their friends and stuff. And one friend tells them they don't want to do that one cool thing that might turn the whole crew off. So, yeah, teens are tough.
I have a friend that lives across the street from the one on Warren Street. Is that the new one that we've been working?
Huron Park?
Huron Park. And she tells me different things that go on there. And it's kind of hard to get a group of 4, 5, 6-year-olds or, with their parents and all that, and then to have a group of rowdy teens to clash, because she says then there's problems. Mixing that group, that's why I kind of steer away from splash pads for the older. Maybe something, it's just me. It's just me.
One thing that I think will be really nice too when the new rec center is built is just having that walking track, because it's a building that will be air conditioned too during the hot months. So just having a space where a set of teenagers, if they simply just want to walk around a little bit and cool off, that'll be good for them. There'll be pockets of time each day where there'll be court time available if they want to shoot some hoops or, but I think having that, because we don't currently have that, just a cool space for the entire summer.
Kind of like an open gym.
Yeah, so that, there's going to be pockets of time every day that, because we want to have programming like I discussed earlier, but it also needs to be a space for the community too. If they just want to come and drop in and, like I said, shoot some baskets or walk around a little bit and just have that freedom to do that too, without specifically signing up for a program. So, and a safe space too. So I think those little components too of the new building, I think that'll be a huge asset for teenagers and older kids in college, if they're coming home for a break or whatever, or just people who are still in the area. So.
Any other items for open discussion? Well, or did somebody have something? I was trying to give Tondra enough time if she was still able to make it, but it sounded like she'd send me a text. She's probably not going to be able to make it. But just an announcement that Midtown Supper Club won the OPRA first place for the program for this year. So it's the second time it's won, and we're really excited about that. I didn't want to steal Tandra's thunder for that, but we're really proud of all the partners, everybody that came together to get that program going, and the sponsors, and we'll be honored at the OPRA
Awards dinner.
yeah, that in February. So congrats to Tandra and the staff and the people involved with that program. That's all I got.
Anything else?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.